How is it going, boys and girls? Welcome back to Key West Waterman. How is it going, boys and girls? Welcome back to Key West Waterman. My name is Aaron Young. Honestly, we have no real agenda today. It's Saturday in Key West. It's beautiful, no wind. Water's kind of dirty. We've got Will, aka Clams. We've got Kate, Mermaid Kate, and Paddlin' Malin. Honestly, we're just out here goofing off. We're gonna do a little bit of spearing, try and find some supplies for dinner, and kind of enjoy the day. No real agenda. Come along with us. Lovely. Cold and dirty. Not only can he cook, look at this guy.
What'd you get?
Big old mangrove.
Damn it.
It's like 50 pounds.
World record.
World record.
Not bad. No meat messed up.
No.
That's a good shot.
It's textbook, dude. Textbook. Mangrove in the box. Nice one, dude. Almost 18 inches.
How much?
Almost 18.
Almost 18?
Yeah, 17. Just over 17.
Dang, Will.
Crushing it. So fast forward about an hour and a half. I actually sat out a couple spots. I wasn't feeling right. I finally felt better and ended up getting in. And I'm pretty familiar with this rock. This ledge is known for grouper. And as I've always talked about in the past, I like to lead with my gun. I'm right-handed, so I want that ledge on my left side. Gives me a better angle because my gun is in my right hand. Just kind of keeps me a little more ready if something is there. I'm expecting to see a grouper in here just because I know they love this area. You can see a decent margate kind of cruise up in front of me. I'm coming in real slow, try not to bump anything. And you'll see here just a second, something zips right in front of me, which looked like a shootable grouper, but it was actually a Nassau, which are protected here. And you can kind of see I zero in on something back in that corner, but the Nassau stirred up so much I wasn't able to actually kind of get a good sight on it. And I saw what looked like big grouper lips, and I was 98% sure it's what they were. But unfortunately, the dust from that Nassau stirred it up to where I couldn't line up a shot on it. I actually left my gun down there because on my return trip I don't want to bump any rocks again. Woo! There is a big grouper in this cave. So here's my return trip. You can see a couple little black groupers on the outside of this hole, which a lot of times also will tell me that there's a bigger one in the hole because they're kind of bossy when it comes to that. A lot of times I've seen smaller groupers swim into a hole and immediately swim back out. It normally means there's a bigger fish in there. And I'm coming in, I left my gun down there. Like I said, if you bump your gun on the rocks or anything, it kind of creates a little shock underwater, and a lot of times it'll make fish shift. And you can see just from what that Nassau swam across, where it swam across, stirred everything up just enough that I can't see as far as I need to. There's a little haze in here. This sediment on inside the caves never really gets disturbed. It's very light and fragile, so when it does, it makes the visibility go way, way down. It's really hard to see through it. So I decide I'm going to come up, give it a few more minutes. Hopefully it'll clear up, and I can get a better idea of where this fish actually went. So like I said, I'm very familiar with this spot. This is actually the other side of the ledge. This cave runs all the way through and it's interconnected. So I'm coming over here just to see if by any chance this fish kind of made a run to the backside. And looking through here, it's also a little cloudy, so it tells me that one of those fish has come through here. A lot of times a plume of dust in any situation tells me that there's something that I spooked, even if I don't see a fish. If I'm checking ledges or holes or rocks or whatever it is, and I see a plume of dust, I always investigate, because not typically, some of the time it's going to be a grouper. Some other fish will do it, margates will do it, or sometimes parrotfish will do it, but there's a good chance that if you do see a plume of dust anywhere, you spooked something of size. So I'm just kind of searching all these little cracks and whatnot, trying to see if I can find anything. You see a piece of his tail, one of his fins sticking out, a lip somewhere. Literally just checking every crack that I can, because these groupers are extremely good at hiding. So I actually ran back to the boat to clear my mask. I was having some fogging issues, and I heard the girls screaming. And a pod of dolphins actually came by and checked us out. They were swimming around for a while. Threw a little short clip of them. Pretty cool to see them. You don't see them a whole lot in the water anyways. So after that, clearing the mask and hanging out with the dolphins, it was probably about 10-15 minutes, which was good. Sometimes if it's too murky, I'll leave a spot 15-20 minutes, come back, and the fish will have gotten comfortable, will kind of settle. So I'm doing my drop, same as I did before, leading with my gun, and I kind of got caught here with my pants down. I really wasn't ready. I kind of ate my own words because I was not completely ready. You can see I slow this down, look under that ledge, you can see that grouper flick, that big fat tail. I wasn't ready for him. Really wasn't expecting him to be outside of the ledge. I was expecting him to maybe be a little more accessible inside, but unfortunately he got the best of me on that one. I was not ready. So I'm coming in real slow, because a lot of times once they go in the ledge, they'll turn back around and pause and kind of wait for you, just out of curiosity, but fortunately he did not. So I'm being real mellow. One of the biggest mistakes I see in this type of hunting is people being a big disturbance inside of there, and you'll stir it up every single time. You'll notice I move very slow. I try to crawl, not kick so much, use my hands, but that'll help just not disturb that sediment. You can do more dives. Got my gun caught there a little bit. So I talk about this a lot, and I know this is kind of a long process and a little boring maybe, but I try to keep expectations realistic, and I like to show the reality of things. A lot of these clips make it seem like we dive down and shoot a fish every single drop. I actually did probably closer to 15 or 20 dives on this. I just didn't show them all. So just keep that in mind. I'm trying to do some education here if I can, and just keep, like I said, expectations realistic. So I'm setting about 2 minutes between each drop, just trying to hopefully let the fish come out. I'm coming in real nice and slow as always, and you can see if you look dead center of the screen, you can see that grouper sitting there, and I hate this head-on shot. The way that this fish is angled, it's going to go right down the fillet, and I slow this down, and you'll see he flicks, and it is a beefy grouper. I've seen enough to know that is a very healthy fish. He flicked just fast enough that I was not able to track my gun through those rocks. So I crawl in a little deeper. You can see his little dust trail there. I cannot see him. This thing is really giving me a run for my money. You kind of heard my watch beep there. I don't know if where you're watching will pick it up. That I have my watch timed. It tells me what my surface interval is. I want to be on the surface for at least 2 minutes. My average dive is about a minute 15, a minute 30. So that's what that beep is, if you're wondering. I don't know if you could hear it. I can hear it on my end. But here we are, same ledge. This is, like I said, this is literally probably my 20th drop on this fish, but I didn't want to show you guys all of them. Just wanted to show you a few of them. Doing the same thing, kind of scanning around. Wanted to get a little farther in because this cave goes up and in to the right. I had a feeling that's where that fish was. You can see a little head. That's actually the Nassau. And for the life of me, I could not find this fish. Sometimes they win, you know. I think there's a little less in there though. I really ate my words on not being ready when that fish was kind of out leading with my gun, but hopefully you guys learned something on that one. So we decided we're gonna let this guy live. He earned it. We're gonna head out to a deeper spot. That grouper wins. So because we didn't have many fish in the boat, I headed out to a spot that's kind of known for grouper. There's no such thing as a guarantee, but we needed fish for the week, and I wanted to head out to a spot that I had a better chance. This one, more often than not, holds something that I can shoot. You see there's all kinds of bait and life on it. It's in about 60 feet. So I do a drop, no different than normal, kind of tuck my gun. And again, these GoPros make it look like it's really clear. I don't know if it's because I switched to the 8s or what it is, but this spot was actually really murky. And I'm actually going to slow this clip down because I see a grouper and I kind of focus right on it because of what happened with the last one. If you look really closely in slow motion, you can see there's a Kubera snapper that swims right over this grouper's head. And I was so focused on this fish because of what happened with the previous fish, I did not even see that Kubera snapper until I watched this video back. But this grouper's just doing everything he can to search for somewhere to hide. Unfortunately, I got the better hand on him and got him out. He did not rock up. And that is all we need for the week. This fish is over 20 pounds. And ended up being a spectacular day. I didn't want to take more than we needed, and that was plenty. Absolutely beautiful fish. And as always, I bleed and I gut them for quality. Bleeding them helps with the meat quality a little bit, in my opinion. But that's all I got. I will see you guys in the kitchen. We cook this thing up and show you a recipe. Stay tuned. Just be natural. Why'd you guys stop talking?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, we are done out here, I think. Kind of lost track of filming. Most of this will probably be underwater narrative. But it was a good day. Will shot some mangrove snappers. The girls got to swim with dolphins. And Malin shot a lionfish. And we got one nice grouper and mission accomplished. We're going to have fish for the week. So we'll get this back, get it filleted up, and come up with a recipe to show you. We'll see you there. Use those muscles.
I got all the muscles.
Look at that. Don't even need an anchor ball.
You got your water.
So we are not going to eat this grouper tonight, actually. Shot it right at the end of the day. Would really like to let it rest overnight on ice, so that's what I'm going to do. Let it rest overnight. We'll get it filleted up tomorrow and put something together. All right, so here's that grouper. I'm not going to show you the whole thing. I've filleted a fish for you guys before. A grouper actually almost this size. This thing was actually over 20 pounds. Very nice fish. But something interesting is that Will, the one holding the camera, is actually going to take all these scraps that would be going in the water. I normally would take the collar, but he's going to take the head, the rack, the ribs, and the, wait, what did I say? Collar, head, rack, ribs. And he's going to make literally 4 separate meals from what would go back in the water and go to waste. So I'm going to put a link in in the description and do a little tag for his channel to go check this out. He's going to do a 4-part series on this, which is going to be really cool and show you actually how much you can get from just one fish. I, on the other hand, am going to take the fillets this time and show you guys a recipe with that. So I'll finish this up and I will see you guys in the kitchen. We're back in the kitchen. We've got our grouper. And I'll be honest with you, tonight's recipe is not so much about the grouper as it is about the butter and it is about the fried rice. We're doing grouper fried rice, but I want to show you, and this is not my recipe, I simply got this off the internet, but I've done it so many times. It is absolutely incredible. I have to share it. Garlic butter. If you've ever been to like a Japanese steakhouse, their garlic butter, unbelievable. Kind of like Benihana. Most places do it, but I figured out how to make it at home. So I make it in big batches. And we do fried rice and it's delicious. So all you need is a blender or a NutriBullet type of deal thing. I use a NutriBullet because it literally liquefies this. You kind of ballpark this based on how much you want to make. A bunch of garlic cloves. I've got 2 bigger sticks of Kerrygold. I use unsalted because of the amount of soy sauce that goes into this. That's about right there. So I haven't got an exact measurement here. I kind of ballpark it. I think the recipe's like a cup of soy. It looks like a little over. And this butter I softened. You leave it out for an hour or two. Soften it up. This thing's leaking, but I'm gonna do it anyways. So you want this to be liquidy. There's no chunks or anything in there. And then straight into the butter. I don't put it all. Start with a little, mix it, and then kind of go from there. And that is about what it's supposed to look like. It's kind of got like a brown tint to it. It's almost like little brown dots. We're there. So I added a little too much soy. I just drained a little out as I was mixing it. You could kind of tell, but that's what she is. I'm gonna throw that in the fridge and let it come back together as butter and start chopping up veggies and rice. All right, so again, the focus of this is not the grouper, even though this grouper looks incredible. Look at this filet, like you can see the fat inside there. This is just an unbelievable piece of fish. But the main thing in here is the fried rice and the garlic butter, which I'm gonna do. I was gonna do veggies in the whole thing, but I realized Madeline's leaving. This is her favorite thing, so I'm gonna make this again tomorrow. Anyways, it's gonna be just fried rice and grouper. Got garlic butter, the rice. I undercook in a rice cooker just a little because I noticed when I put it back on here, if I cook this all the way, it gets real soft. So I pull it out a little early from the rice cooker and spread it out so it cools off. I've got onion, green onion, a couple scrambled eggs, soy sauce, and safflower oil. This stuff is better for this because it has a higher burning point from what I'm told. So we'll get started with these. Scrambled eggs. I am not an expert. I'm not making stuff fly in the air. Show you the basics here of what all we're putting in this. It's the only trick I got. Alright. So rice. And again, I pull it off early and let it cool down. If I throw it on there hot, I feel like it gets overdone and kind of mushy. Green onion, white onion. Really makes you respect those guys that do this for a living because they're using both hands. It's actually pretty unbelievable how they do this. A little more soy. After making this myself, I've realized that you get about 3 weeks worth of salt intake based on what they put in here. A little bit of pepper. Oh, I just realized what I forgot. And now that I'm doing this. Croissant. Sesame seeds. Gotta have sesame seeds. And I love sesame seeds, so I'm going all in. Now, this is probably going to startle you, the amount of butter that goes in here. So if I put it in the fridge, it chilled back together the way I want it. And I actually make way too much of this. This whole thing was almost full. We save it and kind of put it on everything. I'm actually going to put it on the grouper as well. Turn the heat up a little bit. All right, so I turn the heat up and let that sit for a second. We'll be right back. All right, so fried rice is done, crisped up a little bit. Just kind of turn the heat up real high, get it kind of a little crunchy. I've got my grouper here, literally salt, pepper, that's it. This is avocado oil and a cast iron. And when I say ripping hot, you can see the smoke coming off of that. So the idea here is get a hard char. Gives it a little crunch and it holds a lot of that moisture in so these don't dry out. And I've got my oven preheated to 350. I cannot take credit for this recipe. This is actually Matt Conrad's, the best beef dropper in all of New Mexico. He taught me this. So it's about 45 seconds to a minute on each side. Gonna flip it over. Then I'm gonna put, normally I just do regular butter. I've done this before. I'm gonna use garlic butter this time to go with the rice. And then we're gonna pop it in the oven for 10 minutes. All right, so about a minute. You see that's nice and golden brown. Again, it just kind of keeps the moisture in there. Keeps you from drying out. And flip. Again, just salt and pepper on them, and then butter. And into the oven. 350. Those are pretty thick. Those are about 2.5 inches thick. So I'm gonna do 12 minutes and we'll check them. All right, so it has been 12 minutes. Ooh. So you see how that's starting to break apart a little? That's typically what I look for, is when the filet starts to separate just a smidge on a couple of them. I'm 95% sure that's just gonna be, oh yeah. Oh yeah, so that's perfect. So here we are, our fried rice. Ooh. Need more than that. This is gonna be hot off the press. You want 2 or 1?
Just one.
Just 1? All right, so Will's gonna be my taste tester. Kind of nerve-wracking having Will cook for me, to be honest with you. Let it cool down, obviously, sir. But let me know what you guys think about this one. A little different. I wanted to incorporate the grouper. Main thing is fried rice. I'm a big fan of garlic butter, and I finally figured that out, so I wanted to share it with you. But leave some comments, as always. I do appreciate y'all's time. We're gonna let Will dig in. Don't lie to me.
I won't lie. The best piece of grouper I've ever had was the way you cooked it.
Yeah, so Will did a series of 4 with this grouper. He used all the scraps, and it's been one of the fattiest groupers that I've ever harvested. You could literally see the fat in the fillet.
That is.
Is it cooked right?
Is it cooked
Oh
right?
yeah. Look at, see how it's still moist in there? It's not dry.
This is something. So I worked in a couple of restaurants, and this is how we cooked when we would get grouper, and this is unbelievable. It's like perfect. No, it really is. Thanks, Matt.
That's Conrad. A lot. That's a lot. Yeah, seriously. Thanks, Matt.
But
that's a lot coming from
let's
Will.
focus on the fried rice.
It's a little nerve-wracking.
Oh yeah.
See, I'm a big fried rice guy, so wanted to share that with you. A little different than normal, but I'm gonna quit rambling. I'll let you guys get back to whatever it is that you're doing. Thanks so much, seriously, for your time. The channel's growing a lot, and I do appreciate it. It's because of you guys and girls. And I will see you guys on the next one. Later.
This grouper's so good.